Hi, I'm Brooke with MeetRx, and today I'm going to be speaking with Ruth, who's going to share her exciting story with Carnivore and how it's helped her with diabetes and all kinds of other things. Hi, Ruth. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
So glad to talk to you, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome.
So, um, let me ask you, what were things like for you before you embarked on this journey to carnivore?
Oh boy, it's been a little over 3 years, so let me get back in that mindset. I was suffering with type 2 diabetes. I had been diagnosed in about 2008, and I was on more and more and different meds and facing going on insulin because the meds weren't working anymore. I had been diagnosed with recurrent diverticulitis, and I actually had 2 colon resections and lived with a colostomy bag for 9 months. All the while my gastro doctors were telling me to eat more fiber, and nothing was helping. I was facing a third resection because I had 5 recurrent infections in 5 months, and I couldn't, every time I'd stop the antibiotic, it would come back again. I was obese. Everything hurt. My feet hurt, my legs hurt, my hips hurt. Everything hurt. I wasn't sleeping. I was unhappy. I was almost had a failed marriage because of all of it. You know, my husband is very fit and very active, and he saw his future having to take care of a sick wife that couldn't do things that he wanted to do. And he kind of had emotionally checked out. And my life was it was just a mess in a bunch of different ways.
Wow, and you had a colostomy bag.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And then I know you kind of went on a circular route. Did you go to paleo then, or?
I did not. I started with keto. Actually, I didn't jump right into the just 20 grams of carbs a day or less. I kind of started the first couple of weeks just by looking at what I was eating and how many carbs I was consuming. And then I just started cutting out all of the breads and pastas and sugars and everything. And then probably, I would say 2 months into it is when I went to keto and cut it down to 20 total grams of carbs. And
Tell us what was that like?
You know, it was it was a big change. You know, there's definitely carb addiction, because I would lay in bed at night wondering if I could get out of bed and go sneak a piece of bread without my husband noticing. I mean, it would keep me awake at night, and I would have these nightmares that I had started eating the crap again, and I would wake up just feeling so guilty. You know, carb addiction is real.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and the whole metabolic system, it gets broken.
Yes.
And there's so many different ways to do keto. How are you doing it?
Strict clean keto. No keto foods. I was doing all real whole foods.
No, you mean no fat bombs and mountains?
No.
But probably mountains of greens.
Yes, at the beginning, yes, I was.
Were you doing a meat-based keto?
I was on meat-based keto just because I didn't want to add all those carbs in, you know. So I was eating broccoli, cauliflower, leafy greens, spinach, stuff like that. But I was trying to keep my total carbs to 20. And if you start adding leafy greens, I didn't deduct the fiber. So I was eating, you know, a little bit of greens, but not over.
Were you eating beef?
I was eating beef, yeah. Yep.
Good. So you must have seen some big improvements with keto.
Well, yeah, I started losing weight almost immediately, and I had been on every diet known to man and just never lost any weight. And the other big thing is I just wasn't ever hungry. I mean, it was so filling that it wasn't a starvation diet. It was just amazing to me that I could lose weight eating what I was eating. It was fantastic. I found it a miracle.
That's nice. So then how did you get into carnivore?
Well, I guess I just wasn't really enjoying eating the plants. And sometimes when I would eat them, I would still have the irritable bowel syndrome. And I thought, why am I wasting, time eating the carbs when I don't really need them? I knew they weren't essential.
How did you know that?
Oh, just a lot of groups that I belong to.
Yes.
And doctors won't tell you that, but I had to figure it out myself. And, once I cut out the plants, then not only had I cured my diabetes, but I discovered that I no longer had irritable bowel, or I haven't had a diverticulitis flare up in almost 4 years now. So, and my routine was every 4 to 6 months, I would get an infection and have to go on antibiotics. And all the while the doctors are telling you eat more fiber, more fiber. That's the problem. Well, my body is much happier without the fiber, much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's great.
It really works.
And so when you dropped all the plants and focused just on animal foods, what besides the digestion, irritable bowels, what were any other kinds of things you noticed?
Well, that's when I was not achy anymore. My joints didn't hurt. I also suffer from something that is called lichen sclerosis. That went away.
What's that? What is that?
It's it's kind of a yeast infection type of thing.
Okay.
That I had to be on steroids for. I don't take that anymore. My eyesight got better. I continued to lose weight. I feel like a new person.
That's great. So what did your doctor think about this?
Well, I had to go through 3 doctors before I found a pro carnivore doctor, and she is way on board with it. She's amazed. My original doctor, I was seeing my endocrinologist for my type 2 diabetes, and I had corrected my A1C to my level is now 5.0, and that's what it's been for the past couple of years, which is non-diabetic. And she was happy about that, but what about your cholesterol? I mean, she wanted me to go, and she told me if I didn't go off of keto carnivore, she was going to have to drop me as a client. So I said goodbye. And I had to interview a few doctors, and I finally found one that's on board, and she's amazing. So
that's great. What's the weight loss amount?
90 pounds.
90 pounds.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's fantastic.
It is. I've still got 20 to go. And it's really slow. I miss the early days of the weight loss where it was just coming out and I was going through sizes like crazy, but I'll get there.
Yeah. What about your skin?
Oh, my skin is cleared up. Don't have any more rashes or itchiness. The lichen sclerosis was itchiness. That's all gone away. My skin is clear. My facial skin is clear. Yeah, and just being off those medications like steroids, that must be such a improvement. Steroids aren't any fun at all. No, they aren't. And the diabetic meds weren't any fun either. So I'm glad to be off of all of those.
Yeah, and what about mobility and just...
Oh, I can keep up with my husband now. We hike, we bike, we walk. I don't run. He runs. I don't run anymore. But
oh, he must be so happy.
He is. He is very happy. Yes.
Did he start to adopt a carnivore diet?
Yes, he does. Yeah. He still likes his salads. So I make him a salad at night. It's fine. He can eat that, but he eats mostly carnivore with me.
That's so great. That's great. Yeah. I love to hear about married couples on carnivore. I think it's just such a nice, it's so nice because I know how it affects mood and that's got to be such an improvement.
Yep. And, you know, not only has it healed my health issues, it healed my marriage. It really did. It's just been a miracle. So
That's fantastic. I love that. I love that part of that story.
yeah, me too.
Right.
Me too, because I really love my husband.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't want to lose him.
Oh, and yourself.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Saved yourself, saved your marriage, saved your.
absolutely.
That's fantastic. And because diabetes is sure scary.
It
Scary.
is scary, and it's progressive and it's relentless. And you know, I still belong to several Facebook diabetic groups where I try to preach, you know, what has helped me. But people want to believe that the medication the doctors give them is, you know, it's going to fix it, and then you can eat anything you want, and
Yeah.
it'll keep your blood sugar down. Well, that might work for a little while, but it's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, I mean, once you get on that medication, it just seems like that's a straight road to hell.
It is.
Because
It is.
yeah.
Especially with some of the medications, they cause extreme lows because they're punching your pancreas to release the insulin. So then you get really low, and then you have to grab for something that has carbs or sugar to bring it back up because it's scary.
So it just makes it worse, actually
It
exaggerates.
does. It does. Yeah. So that was the very first med that I dropped, was the medication that was punching my pancreas and causing me to go low because I just didn't need it anymore. And within, I would say it was about the 14 months in, I was able to drop all 3 of my meds. And I was able to narrowly avoid going on insulin.
So the physician that you had early on, when they saw that improvement, they must have been excited about that, even though they had that real idea.
They were, but and then I did switch endocrinologist to someone who was supposed to understand keto, but it turned out he was more a Mediterranean diet, and he wanted me to still eat whole grains and whole pasta, you know, whole wheat pastas. And I'm like, no, they affect my blood sugar just like white rice would. And so then I had to drop him too. And yeah.
Well, that's the thing, you know, this idea of the virtue of brown rice and brown flour and brown bread and the vegetables, that it was a virtuous thing. It makes us virtuous when we eat them.
Right.
And our body doesn't care about brown bread or white bread or donuts. It's all the same.
My body, yeah. If you're a diabetic, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A piece of cake or a banana or, you know, anything. It's awful.
Yeah. What do you eat now?
Well, I do some extended fasting as well. So for lunch, usually I have bacon spread with cream cheese and a little bit of everything but the bagel seasoning sprinkled on it, in cheese cubes. For dinner, I usually make, I always make a protein, and then I make a salad for my husband, but I just eat the protein. So
what do you mean when you say protein? Do you mean like
well, tonight we're having pork chops.
Mm-hmm.
And I spread it with Dijon mustard and then put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on it, and it's delicious. And then my husband will have a salad, but I'll just eat the pork chop because that satisfies me.
So do you have breakfast, or was that lunch?
I do not. I never eat breakfast.
And do you have coffee?
Every once in a while, but I've lately been trying to just drink hot water. Mm-hmm. If I drink coffee, I do put a little heavy whipping cream in it, but I have been having a little bit of allergy problems because it's fall in Michigan, so I cut out the coffee because I don't like it without the heavy whipping cream. So I've just been drinking hot water, but I do drink coffee every once in a while. But I find that I don't love it like I used to.
So that's sort of dropping away. So you do a natural intermittent fasting, sounds like, until noon.
Yep.
And then you do include dairy and
I do.
condiments, and it sounds like it's really comfortable for you.
It is. I don't miss the foods that I used to eat at all because I'm satisfied and I'm not hungry and I feel so good.
Yeah, that's great. That lunch that you said, is that usually, would that be typical? Would that usually be enough?
Yeah, typical. Sometimes if I'm really hungry, I will add a couple of deviled eggs
Mm-hmm.
to it. But a lot of times I don't need it, and sometimes I do like 24 to 42 hour fasts, and just don't eat a whole day, and then jump back into it the next day.
And how does that?
I listen to my body.
How does that feel when
Pardon?
you do that? How does that feel when you do that?
It's empowering. It's amazing. I mean, before, when I was on the standard American diet, I couldn't go more than 3 hours without being hangry.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that I always thought I didn't have willpower. It just turns out I wasn't eating right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Meat heals.
It does.
Yeah. It truly does.
They say that all the time.